that? What is the first step in when rewriting y equals negative 4x squared plus 2x minus 7 in the form, and then you have y equals a times x minus h squared plus k, and then find the value of a. So this is the concept of, we have a quadratic equation standard form. So this is y equals negative 4x squared plus 2x minus 7. So we have this quadratic equation here. And what we're going to do, we have to rewrite it into the form, into a vertex form, right? So we have, this is a standard form. And what we want is, we want the vertex form, right? And the vertex form obviously shows us where the vertexes of the parabola. So this is y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. So this here shows us, standard form doesn't really show us much about the parabola here, the quadratic equation, but the vertex form shows us where the vertex is. So in order for us to go from here to here, what we have to do is we have to do something called completing the square. So we complete the square. And how do we do that? Well, I'll show you. So completing the square. So let's complete the square for this question. So we have y equals, we have negative 4x squared plus 2x minus 7. So what we're going to have what we have to do first is, in order for us to complete the square, we have to make a perfect square trinomial. And in doing by doing that first, we have to actually get rid of this a value here, this negative 4. So in order for us to do that, we're going to factor out negative 4 from our problem here. So we're going to take out negative 4 here. So we're left with x squared, and then we're left with we're going to take out negative 4. So we have a minus sign here. And this is going to be x over 2. Or half x, you can say, x over 2 or half x. Maybe I'll just write half x for you here, and then minus 7 here. And we're taking the minus 7 out of the brackets here, because we're only factoring we're only common factoring the first two terms here. So we're taking out that. So now we have our a value here. What happens next is we have to complete the square. So we have negative 4, we have x squared minus half x. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this b term, so this half term, we're going to first double our b term here. So half times 2 here is 1, and then we're going to square this term. 1 squared will equal 1. And we're going to say it's plus 1 and minus 1 here, just to make our perfect square trinomial. So plus 1, and minus 7 here. So this here is my perfect square trinomial, like so. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take out negative 1 here. We're going to take out negative 1 by multiplying by negative 4. So I'm going to have, this is negative 4 x squared minus half x, half x plus 1. And we take out negative 1 times negative 4 will give me positive 4 minus 7. And then finally, what I have here in the brackets here is I have a perfect square trinomial, and this will give us the terms. We have what we have here in the bracket is 1 squared minus half squared, or hold up, give me a second, sorry. So we have 1, negative half, and negative 1 here. Half times 2 is 1. Or sorry, negative half is actually, I'm going to screw up here. Negative half times 2 is negative 1 squared. That is still 1 here. So hold up. Give me a second here. Let me think. 4x squared minus half x plus 1. This here would go to, I'm dividing it. Oh no, I'm dividing it by 2, not multiplying by 2. So sorry, I messed up my completing the square here. So it's half actually divided by 2. So half, I'm going to divide this number by 2 and then squaring it. So I think I multiplied instead. So let me redo this problem here. Half divided by 2 here is 1/4, and then I'm going to square this term here, which equals 1 over 16. So this here is my, I'm going to plus 1 over 16 minus 1 over 16 minus 7. That looks more like it here. Sorry about that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this negative 1 over 16 here by multiplying it by the negative 4. So multiply by positive 1 over 4 minus 7. So this entire equation will get me, so I have negative 4 here, and this here is a perfect square trinomial. I have this is x, simply x minus 1/4 squared, and then whatever 1/4 minus 7 here is, and I'm going to just quickly do that on my calculator. Half minus 7, 1/4 minus 7 here is minus 24/4. So this here is my vertex form of this guy here, and it follows the form of, remember, it's y equals ax minus h squared plus k. So therefore, a here is -4. Therefore, a here equals -4. And that's our value of a. And this is here is our vertex form. Remember, our vertex here is simply, this is the x value and the y value. So our vertex here is 1/4, and -27/4 is our vertex here. So this here is our correct solution with -4. So let me see what they wrote here. Since the given equation is 4x squared plus 2x minus 7, that's good. So we take out -4 like we did from the first step. So we have x squared minus x over 2. That's good. So that's what we did. That was our first step here. And then what they did was they completed the square, I believe, and they would have gotten minus x 1/4, yeah, minus 1/4 here squared, plus 1/4 minus 7. That's what we did here, and they simplified to this here, which is exactly the same thing as I got here. So therefore, our value of a is -4. So this solution here is correct. Solution is correct. But they didn't really write down in terms of, they didn't write down how to complete the square. So steps are missing in order to complete the square. So I'm going to say solution is correct though. Oh, it says something went wrong.